Oh my goodness. So, you guys, a week ago tonight, when your co-host got COVID and couldn't keep his eyes open. So we had to miss the biggest night in the Star Wars world last week. And we know you guys were waiting for us. We're back. It's the Andor Aftershow season finale of season 1, episode 12.
The Force was not with us last week, but we're back now.
Sure wasn't. Oh, the fourth. Well, there was a force with me, Frank. It was not to be on TV talking about the show that I'm so happy I finally saw. You guys, we got lots to talk about. I'm James Jr., of course. My patient co-host, Frank Moran and John Dunphy, are here.
Yeah. Woo! Yes.
Yeah. They're here. And again, I want to thank you because even though we weren't on last week, but even this is our number one show of our network, and you guys are giving us numbers that I just can't get over it. We're like a real podcast. So thank you so much. We appreciate every single person who is listening to this podcast. We appreciate you so very much. We enjoy talking about the show. We're happy to be here. And we're happy to be here. So thank you so much.
We appreciate everyone.
Frank.
All right, just checking.
We do, Frank. We do. We appreciate everyone.
Okay. All right.
We don't know all the details, Frank, but everybody's lost. That's fine. But right now, until further notice, we appreciate everyone.
Okay.
Yes, folks, we do.
Yes.
And of course, all of our other Star Wars content you've been checking out also. But Mandalorian after show, Book of Boba Fett after show, Obi-Wan Kenobi after show, Darth Vader is your father. Thank you for checking all of those out and making them also big hits for us. We appreciate that too. We're on all of them together except for the Mandalorian. It's me and my former co-host, my good friend Ryan Nielsen is on that one with me. So if you like, it's a different voice. It's Ryan. That's the voice. It's not Frank or John. I didn't know John yet, and I didn't ask Frank, I guess, apparently. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just didn't ask you, but I had Ryan. That was it.
That's all you needed then.
My guy.
You didn't want to share. He's like, I got my Star Wars and I get my Ryan. That's all I need.
That's all I need. That's all I needed, kids. That's all I needed. But thanks for checking all those out. They're on all streaming service platforms, of course. And there's a new Darth Vader is your father coming out. I got a bunch of stuff for free that Star Wars gave to me. My daughter and family gave me a bunch of Star Wars goodies. I'll be doing an unboxing of all that, and I'll be up soon this week sometime. I was knocked out of the COVIDs.
You were knocked out, but you got back up again. COVID's not going to keep you down.
Actually, I do like that song. I do like that song, John. That's a good one. I do like that song. I do. I remember that song was a huge hit. Hi, Talman family. Hi, everybody coming in here. I have a little cough still because, day 8 of my COVID journey. I hate calling it a journey, but I do it on purpose because I think it's hilarious. This is my COVID journey, you guys. Yes. I know, it's dumb.
Your COVID Jeremy,
but oh my God, you the bell for that one.
Get me out of here.
Bell for that one. Yes. Okay, so let's go into this. So far, everyone, I didn't hear nothing. All I heard was everyone loved the ending. They thought it was a great season ending. And that the show is not the most watched, apparently, of all the Star Wars shows. I don't know what that means either. It's like the most critically acclaimed. So overall, I'm asking John and Frank, the episode, that's not the whole season right now, just the episode, what did you think? And either one can go for, I'll let one of you guys choose. Let's go first.
Oh, I always bow down to John Dunphy.
Go ahead, John Dunphy. John Dunphy.
God, I honestly feel like this episode was even better than I could have imagined. I thought this was just the perfect ending to this season. In this episode, like it was so emotional. I was like, there was times I was sad. There was times I was amped up. I was just times I was hopeful. Times I was scared. It was like this episode felt like it had everything. I felt like it brought everything from the whole season, and it just tied it together really nicely. It's like everybody showed up that we've seen throughout the season, but it never really felt like too much or anything like that. It was just the perfect way to wrap up the season. I felt like I really, really enjoyed this finale. I thought it was great. I absolutely loved it.
He's like, really? All that? Okay. He's like, well, I hated this shit. No, okay, sorry.
Well, I hated this.
Right, exactly. I knew you were gonna say that. Yes, good.
Yeah. No, you know what? I enjoyed it, but also it didn't quite give me the feelings that I was hoping that they gave you, John. It was still a solid episode, but I guess maybe because I've just been so high on this series that it's been that feeling has only increased. It's been as the series has continued that I was really hoping for it to really crescendo with the last episode. I'm like, yes. And this one, it was just like, yeah, it was good, but I don't know. It just didn't quite didn't quite nail it for me, but it's still a solid episode.
Okay. I'm excited to hear then as we talk more, as you expand on that. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. And I felt like this whole season, I know we're not talking about the whole season right now, we're just talking about this episode, but I felt like this really set the table for season 2, where I think we're going to get that like explosiveness because it's going to be a lot longer time period, right? Condensed into one season.
John, what I want to do is I'll try to stretch out our love time together. And when we're done with the other shows, we usually do a season recap, kind of. I was hoping the three of us could do that.
Absolutely.
Maybe next week. Frank's like,
look at that.
Frank's like, nah. I think maybe Wednesday could do that. Try to stretch us out a little bit. Called stretching the product. Wow, but yes, that's a good point, Dawson. That's a good point. But for me, I'm sorry with John. It's 2 against 1, I guess. I loved it. Frank's like, bye. He's like, that's it. Thanks for coming, Frank. Thank you. I just thought it was I feel like they brought all these people back and they were all in the same space. And so we saw all the characters, like these major players. And the one thing that made me laugh, we'll talk about it later, of course. I thought of Frank. And a lot of folks die. And and there's some folks they just bye, that's it, and move on. I mean, that's it. One guy got a lingering one. I was like, it's the first time. And I wonder why he got a lingering goodbye shot compared to some of the others. It's like, if this was an episode, to me, I cried at the Marva speech. I was crying at that one. I totally got into it. It was to me. There's a lot of, and the way they set up for season 2, which, like I said, we'll talk about another day.
Yes,
it's like they have all this stuff set up. So you're kind of like, okay, and there's a cliffhanger ending, kind of with Cassian and Luthen, and then of course we're going to the bonus scene too, and the bonus scene. Hi Derpy 501 first. Andor is better than Mando. Yeah, I said it. Well, I enjoyed it more than Mando, and didn't need toy merchandise to get season 2. Just saying. That's pretty funny. I don't care. I like my toy merchandise. I like it. Anyway, and I don't understand the hate for the show. I actually kind of understand it a little bit. In terms of it's a different kind of Star Wars show, and we'll get into that another time too. We'll get into that, but I kind of give some folks. I call it the thinking man Star Wars. That's kind of what I call the series, where the other ones were so much about just battle, fight. Like this one was much more the thinking man Star Wars to me. So I see why some folks are disappointed. There weren't any lightsabers and different planets running around, and I mean, there's a lot of things that they didn't do in the series. They really just didn't do in the series.
It's interesting though, like to me, because I have a friend who's a big Star Wars fan, and I was posting about Andor and how much I was enjoying it, and his response was, he literally said, "Really? Like it's worth watching? It seems kind of pointless in the Star Wars universe." And I was like, oh my God, like you haven't even given it a chance and you're calling it pointless as a huge Star Wars fan. Like, I don't get why people won't even give it the chance to tune in, and maybe they will now that all the seasons are out and they can binge it. All the episodes are out, I mean, and they can binge it. But
I have to admit, preseason, and I admit this, folks. I admit it. I was wrong, because remember, I didn't want to do a whole after show. I was going to like do a season recap at the end of my other show, Darth Vader's Your Father. That's what I want to do. You guys convinced me. I was not excited whatsoever. I was not excited. Of all the other ones, I was not excited. But I'm telling you, I was slapped across the face, and I was like, I'm in. Yeah. And like I said, it's my favorite Star Wars series. It just is. I mean, as a whole, it's my favorite. And we'll talk about that at some point too. I bought all that kind of stuff. I want to play some games with that too at some point. But I was not excited either. And I think a lot of folks just like Andor. Yeah. Okay. Everybody seemed to like Rogue One, the movie. So I feel like that was universally kind of liked as one of those standalone movies. But yeah, this series had no fanfare. It really didn't. Yeah. I think all the other ones had fanfare. All the other ones were really looking, forward to them. And I was one of those folks. I was one of those folks. I was not in. And then when I saw it, I was in. I told people, give it a chance. Some people just give it a chance. I said, get past the 3 episodes or whatever. Just whatever. Just get in it. That's what I think. So let's get into it. First, let's get into it, because we almost had a full hour of stuff that went on in this episode. Rick's Road, this is the road where they're already talking about in the chat room. Yes, when the band and crowd started playing, and they're like, Frank looks like Oscar the Grouch right now. Like, he had enough already. Sorry, Frank. This is Frank's regular look. You don't watch General Hospital with us on Sunday, so this is regular.
That's true.
Well, Holly's on fire. That's another show. So we opened with the young kid whose dad had got killed in that last thing. So I was like, oh, okay, I remember him now from that, building something. We don't know what he's building, which you find out later, of course, is the bomb. But we didn't know I know what he was building. I was like, oh, he's building something. But I feel like I had something to do against the I knew I had a feeling it was something that we used later. He was going to do something. I had a feeling he was going to do something. But he's building. And then Deidre arrives, of course, on Ferrix. So I was like, okay, we're on Ferrix now. This is it. I'm like, I kept thinking, this is it. This is going to be it. And you're right. The whole episode was, to me, I felt all the tension the whole episode. It was kind of crazy. It's almost like, okay, so she arrives. Bix is still held captive. So we see her. She's still held captive. Cinta is there. The ISB agent is there. So like, we're getting everything kind of. There's like, what's that black guy doing? Like, he's all kind of watching too. What's he gonna do? And the kid is. I love the reveal of the kid working on that thing. There's a hologram. You won't see the back of it. I was like, oh, that hair. At first, like, it can't be Marvin because he wasn't related to her. I was like, oh, no, it's his dad. And was doing the memory, almost like in the memory of his father. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then Cinta and Val are reunited, but Cinta is all business, bitches. She is all business. And Homegirl's just like, hello, I'm here. I mean, like, she didn't say it like that, but she's kind of like feeling like, girl. I mean, I know we got a mission to make, but it seems like Val is still wants this connection with her. Like, she's so on the love side of things. And Cinta's like, no, we got a mission. I thought that was very interesting also. So I think I'll stop there. So they're setting stuff up. So kind of, how do you feel about that whole first series of sequences? And I'll go with you, John.
It was nice to see things like, you can see what's happening here. I thought like the kid, I wish I remembered his name, the character. I'm blanking on it right now, but yeah. But like, I thought that was the perfect opening to the episode, because it was like, you see him doing something, he's working on something, and then you realize what it is. It's a bomb. It looks like almost like a pipe bomb, right? And it's like,
yeah, something, yeah. It's
like, okay, this episode is going to be explosive. Like that's literally like the feeling that I got. I was like, okay, this is where we're starting. So let's see what happens here. And then, like you said, Deirdre showing up. It's so funny with Vel, because I like Vel. I like her character. And it's interesting that she's related to Mon Mothma and everything. But even back in the Aldhani mission that they were pulling, I always kind of felt like, does she really have the stomach for this? It seems like she's always distracted by things. And she was like the leader of that mission. Yes. And now she shows up on Ferrix. And sure, like she's excited to see Cinta and everything. But it's like, we have stuff to do here. Stop. We can say hello later. We can hug later, whatever. I'm literally following an ISB agent right now at this very moment.
But no, John, turn around, step away from the window and turn around.
Yeah. And it's just interesting to me to see Vel like, and it's funny too, because in a way, I guess she's almost similar to Mon Mothma, because we know Mon Mothma becomes this huge, figure and this leader of the rebellion, but at this stage she's still, she's not that she's not all in, I guess, but like it's just she has some reservations. You can tell she's not like fully into it, where she's just willing to do whatever at this point yet. Like she still has some reservations. So I just think it's interesting that that they're both related and they're both struggling with that. And but yeah, this was interesting the way they built this up and started the episode off.
Is that good to show that some people are not just humans and they're just like, I can get into it, I'm fighting, like they're showing some emotion? Is that a good thing?
I think so. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's a hard thing, I imagine, right? I mean, going up against the Empire, it's like I know that what I'm doing is right, or what I want to do is right, but am I going to get for Mon Mothma, she has a family to think about, her daughter, like what's going to happen if I go all in on this? Like, will I lose what I have, this child that I love? Or, it's a hard thing to go against this Empire that seems like this unstoppable force. But, so I like to see that side of it too, especially knowing where Mon Mothma ends up. We don't really know where Vel ends up, but I've loved to see this backstory of Mon Mothma and learning so much more about her. That's been really enjoyable too. But
Big Ram, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a nice standard, like setting the pieces in place for what's to happen later in the episode. Just for for Vel, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a sliding scale on. I mean, there are a lot of characters and a lot of stuff that needs to be kind of addressed in this episode. And I don't know if I think some characters I feel like the wayside. I feel like Vel is one of them. I mean, we get a little bit of her frustrations with Cinta in terms of balancing, work and pleasure.
Yeah.
But she, I mean, other than that, they're really, I mean, we just get her sitting on the on a step, chatting with Luthen for a hot second. But that's about all we get out of her in this episode.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I'll give you that one. She was kind of like declawed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, because we do see later on where she like races in, and they have a really cool shot of her racing in to the fight. And nothing ever came of it.
Yeah, I will admit that was weird. I was waiting for some. I was thinking. This is what I thought. I thought Simpson was killed. I thought something happened to her, and she's running, because it was a very cool shot, running into the smoke, and then she'd end up going, "Oh my god!" You're like, but that, just ran to the smoke.
Yeah, or the two of them were going to team up and start kicking a lot of butt.
Yeah, that didn't. You're right. That is, I'll give you that one, Frank. That was a little weird. It was a great shot, though. Great shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Great shot. We mentioned Mon Mothma. We get a piece of her and Perrin, and we see that Cloris is listening, and we find out later
just
that
like
black
Fraser
dude.
Crane. Just like Fraser Crane, he's listening.
He's listening. Exactly. You know what, Frank? Frank is on that one.
I loved this scene, by the way, of them in the car.
Me too. It's gambling. Mm-hmm.
And so smart. Yeah. So smart of Mon Mothma. She knows people are going to be looking into her finances.
Oh, yeah.
Her husband has clearly had this gambling problem before. And now knowing that your driver is listening at a plant for the ISB, like, oh my God, this was great. And just the way that she got into the car, took this deep breath, took the clasps off and opened it up and just took a deep breath. It was just, I loved it.
That actress is the bomb. I don't know what her name is, but she's the bomb.
And it is, she's just so quick. She, like, I'm gonna just throw Perrin right under the bus. to cover my tracks on this. Great. Clearly, no love lost between those two.
No, not
a truly loveless marriage.
Clearly. And no, I should also just mention, because only had one other scene, which was very interesting too. Her daughter meets the boy. She meets up for the meetup. That was another thing they talked about before, and how we know she's against it. I kiss Marie. We know she's against it. Parent, we have no clue what he fucking. He's just there. You don't know what he thinks.
I don't think he does care about it though. Do you? Because it doesn't seem like he's that. He's like, yeah, whatever. This is our culture, cool, whatever. He doesn't seem like he really cares as much as like Mon Mothma's like, that's a terrible thing that we do as a society, and I don't want that for my daughter.
That's what I mean. Like, Perrin doesn't say anything. He's just kind of going with it. It's just like,
yeah,
right. But it's like the young girl's kind of into it too, though. Like, she's kind of into it. Like, she's like, yeah, I want to like, the traditions. Just like she likes the traditions.
But also, it's like wondering like how much of it is her genuinely liking it, which could be there, but also mixed with how much she knows that it irritates her mom.
That's true too.
Yeah. Fair point.
She's a girl. Oh, did I say that out loud? I have 2 daughters. Trust me, I know. They're different than boys. Trust me. I'll get send all your hate mail to me. But anybody who has kids, has daughters, knows what I'm talking about. But no, I think it's that's a good point. Actually, that's a really good point. But I just love that again. The shots. I love Coruscant anyway. I love the shots. I love how they shoot it, and that palace is beautiful. I always say, and just, but we see that, you see her standing there. It's like, I don't want to be doing this. So I thought that was those were our 2 shots of her. They said a lot, so now we can see what happens next season. But it's kind of like, there you go. We got that going on.
And surprisingly, because I really thought that this would be something that might be wrapped up by this season, or at least moving her on to the next step. But seeing how, we've got ISB guy, or the mole already agreed, happily reporting into ISB about his hot intel. So like, well, I guess we're going to be sticking with Mon Mothma still in Coruscant for a while, which is, that's cool.
And of course, we had the one scene where they mentioned that ambush that happened, the whole thing that happened, the Keegan thing, it all happened. They're all happy. They're trying to make the Empire happy. And again, Aldana gets mentioned again. They're trying to wipe that bad taste out of the Empire's mouth. So I was like, so that's kind of fun. But that old got that the lead guy. So there's all that going on. We got a piece of that real quick too. That was like really quick. So yeah.
I loved how they did that, because I wasn't sure if we would see any of that, like, battle or whatever it was, this trap that the Empire had set for Krieger. But like, we really didn't need to see it. Like, the way that they just kind of, the way that they did it was effective still. I thought it was good.
I agree. So then we get Cassian on Ferrix, which we all knew he was going to do. He is there. We get a Clem flashback. He's reunited with an old friend, and so they're setting up a plan. So, because he wants to go get Bix. He wasn't going to leave Bix alone. He knows where she is. He finds she's in the hotel. He doesn't want to leave her there. So we got that going on. Luthen is kind of watching from outside the city. So we see him. He's there. It's like, I feel like they're setting everything up. Like, everybody's coming to Ferrix. It's all about this funeral. It's all about that. But they're all getting set up. And they brought something else back that I totally forgot about, you guys. Homeboy's manifesto.
Yes.
He was listening to it. I was like, I forgot about that. That's right.
Oh, there were some great lines in there too.
Yeah, I didn't write any down, but there were some good lines in
there.
Yeah. I was just like, oh yeah, that's right. Okay. And then Deidre's there. She gets a rundown. The funeral's gonna be on Rick's Road, 40-person limit because of the daughters of Ferrix. What pushing? And she makes a directive. I want him alive. I want him alive.
And you can tell that a lot of people are chafing on that.
They were. They're like, alive. They didn't like that. Let's see what I was going to say about that. In chorus, the homeboy goes to ISB, tells us all intel, does all that. They let Deidre know that the ambush worked, but she's still not happy. And they tell her, get the access. I mean, that's what you want. If you want to be happy, you know what you got to do, bitch. And so she's not happy at all.
But I do like about that where it's, I mean, they wouldn't even have had Krieger and this, like this sacrificial mission that not that Krieger knew that, without Deirdre like so aggressively pursuing this lead. And now it's like, nah, F you. You want, who cares if you're not in on the loop? If you want happiness, go find access, do it, or Nexus, do it.
They're not good people, Frank. They're for the bad side. They turn their own. Always thick as thieves until whatever. They all turn on their own.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't give a shit. It's all for the bigger. It's all for the greater good, the empire, right? That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's it doesn't matter. I guess it's like, oh, sure, you may have learned of this, but what have you done for me lately?
Don't care.
Yeah.
Cassian and his other friend reunite, who gets killed later. They reunite, but no, he doesn't get killed. So like he gets away. So the original guy we met in the first episode, they reunite, and he's the one who delivers to him kind of Marva's message. She said you knew you'd feel guilty. She said you knew. I said I always come back. And it kind of conveys the message of when she's like, do not worry about this, all this kind of stuff. And he's like, I said I was going to come back, but it was too late. Like she said, it was too late. And so he continues to fixate on getting Big South. That's his major thing there. And then Cyril, your buddy. I'm like, I was wondering how they're going to fit him in on all of this. And him and that guy who came to him are set on this flying thing, and they switch hats. It's kind of funny. I was like, okay. And then they arrive. So I'll stop at that point. So people are starting to arrive. Things Cassian's being seen by people. Like, so how are we feeling? So I'm thinking, oh my God, stuff's building towards this funeral. It's supposed to be happening at a certain time period in the afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Cassian, I think at least through his experience being on the prison and all that stuff, it gives him a better appreciation for how his actions affect others. I mean, certainly with Bix, he certainly becomes really aggressive about wanting to rescue her. But I feel like Cassian, prior to leaving, I mean, certainly was close. I was friends with Bix, but also was not afraid to just be like, yeah, we're friends, but I'm also just gonna get what I need and go too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does show, I feel like, a bit of maturation in Cassian's character.
Yeah. It really felt like Cassian was returning home a very different person than he had left it the last time he was there. It was. I definitely agree with you on that, Frank. And I gotta say, we'll talk about him more throughout the episode, but Brasso is the man. He is one of my favorites. Oh my God! And the way he delivered, Marva's message to Cassian, the acting there was just fantastic. I mean, this show, it's had so many good things, but the acting, these monologues that people have had are just unbelievable. Love Brasso. I love that scene of them down in the tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah, the monologues are good. The acting's really good. I mean, the monologues are good.
Yeah.
They are really good. So suddenly the bell is being run early, it seems like, or something. I mean, they were saying we're going to do it in a couple hours, blah, blah, and he's ringing the bell.
Yeah, F you, Empire. We go by our own timetable.
Apparently, I was like, okay. And I was like, what's going on? I was like, what's going on? I'm like, what's going on? And the procession starts. Very, again, cool cinematography, this whole episode. The way they start, the folks at the flutes, and they start, and Russell has the brick. He has the brick, of course. It would have been Cassian, clearly, obviously, but Cassian's in hiding and trying to get around. But he has the brick of Marva. B is there, of course. Our buddy B is going to do this thing.
B.
I did like the procession of this, so because it starts off what seems like just very random. Yes. With the artists kind of, with the musicians kind of scattered about on the streets. And I just like the way that it just starts kind of coalescing into an unstoppable force, so to speak.
I agree. But there's stuff going on at the same time. And everybody's like, what the F? That black guy is working with the ISBH, and we find out, he says, pretend like you're trying to arrest me. So we found out he's working with him, which kind of makes this guy's a con artist. He just does what he does for money. So I kind of like, okay, that makes that tracks. Deidre again says again, I need him alive. She says it just like 10 times. Because you're right, Frank. They're all kind of like, fuck this bitch. We're gonna just go ahead and kill him. Like, no, I need him alive.
Yeah, every time they make a suggestion, it has to do with like, oh, snipers. Oh, I can get a team up there. Like, it's everything.
Like,
every suggestion they make to her is like to kill him, and he's
Yes.
like, don't make me say this again. I need him alive.
Seriously, I couldn't stop laughing because it was like they came up. We can do this, and like just want to say no. I've said no. Like,
but I do like they always just linger on the redheaded guy where he's always frustrated. It's like, well, what? No, just let me I just want to kill. What are you doing, Deirdre?
I know. And then Cyril sees Deirdre. It's like I guess he just has stars in his eyes and birds twittering. He is obsessed with her. And we'll talk what happens later. But that was like when he saw her and he wanted to kind of go to her. And her boy was like, no, stay right here. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, she's here. He's a huge fan. It was kind of creepy. I'm your number one fan. Oh, I guess I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. But they get an intel that Cassian's probably up there in that thing. So she said she's going to go over there and take care of him. Apparently, somebody's supposed to go and stop the bell ringing. Apparently over there too, because ringing the bell. Like all these parts, and then Cinta's out there, and Ral's everybody, and Luthen's watching. Like there's so much. My heart was beating fast. I just felt like there's so much going on. Yet this procession, like you said, it was coming together. You saw the daughters of Ferrex, and and Homeboy's holding the brick. And you saw the young boy. You saw everybody is like, it's and then all of a sudden it goes. Everybody would come off the streets. We're going to stop. Then the stormtroopers, they all come out to you on the other end. I'm like, oh my God. It was like, but I love the way it looked also. They had the overhead shots and how I love the whole thing. And Deirdre and Amanda miss Cassian, of course. They don't get him. It didn't happen. But then the moment that made me cry, folks, it made me cry. It did. I will fully admit it. I'm not going to cry on here. That made me cry was when they pressed for the hologram. Oh. And Marva does her monologue. And the Empire has to listen to her because it starts out pretty just like, I was 6 years old. Like it's a whole, this kind of like, I wants to see you guys and blah, blah. And it starts out just like a woman talking about her life, kind of. And then when I heard she first says, we've been sleeping. I'm like, ooh, okay, she's going to say something, isn't she?
Yeah.
We've all been sleeping. I thought, once again, that the writing in this show is so good. And this is all, I think I'll stop. She does her speech. I'll stop there because then the next step is the fight. But I'll stop up to that point and everything. So all that's going, everything's coming together. They're all at this funeral. What are your feelings? How are you feeling before all this?
I mean, I will say like that. Yeah, certainly the having our boy up in the bell tower, adding his gonging, so to speak, does add a lot to the tension of the scene. But I also just like the little touches of Cassian seeing Luthen on the ground over there, realizing like, this can't be if he's here. But and then also just Luthen listening to Marva's speech too, and just seeing this idea of a rebellion is kind of locking in and settling with people across the galaxy, which is cool.
He had Stellan Skarsgård had no lines during that, but said so much. That's when you know it's good acting. That's when you know it's like his face said so much, Frank. It said so much in there that he was like, it almost like he almost got teary-eyed, it seemed like, in that scene. Like he was really feeling what she was saying towards the end of her monologue. Like he really was listening to her and going, I'm agreeing with what she's saying. I know, I get, because he's also older too. So like you kind of can relate to someone of your brethren and whatever. You kind of relate to him. He said his face said so much.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you've been trying to get so many people to do this and join your cause and are struggling, and to go to this other planet and hear someone with, her last words, where people are imploring them to rise up and fight something that he's been desperately trying to get other people to see, is a tremendous threat.
Yes.
Yeah.
John, what do you think about all that?
Well, it's funny because that whole shot where Cassian sees Luthen, even the acting there was great. Like,
Yes.
showing Cassian's face, just a look in his eyes of like, holy shit, I didn't even realize that he would be here. Like, and there was that scene, that episode a little while ago where Luthen was trying to convince that ISB agent who was sort of like, his man inside the ISB. He made a comment in that monologue at one point saying, like, I drew up this plan 15 years ago, and I know I'll never really see the results of it, or see how it pays off or whatever. But I feel like in this moment he almost kind of got to see that. I think he's realizing that this rebellion that he's sparked and he's started, it's actually even bigger than he ever even realized. And it's so I love to see that. I loved just the band, the way that they were marching and they came together, like you said, Frank, and just seeing how everybody on Ferrix, it felt like everybody joined in and was walking behind them. And it just showed, because we saw Marva throughout the season and we saw how loved she was, but when you see now here how respected she really was, like, that was really cool for me to see too. I also loved the speech. This is, look, I swear, this is the best speech I think ever in Star Wars. Best monologue ever in Star Wars. This was absolutely incredible. I had chills. I felt like I was going to cry multiple times. I've watched this speech so many times. Now, it's so good. I absolutely love it. And that line that she started it off with, my name is Marva Karasi Andor. And I realized when she said, obviously I know that she's Andor's, Cassian's adoptive mother, and he got her, his last name from her. But in that moment, I realized, like, this show isn't called Cassian Andor. It's not called Cassian. This show is called Andor just as much for Marva as it is for Cassian. That's why this show is called Andor. And it almost made me feel like she is the hero of this show. She is like the main character almost. Like, look what, it was just, I loved everything about this, from the band warming up. It made me feel like I was back in band class, seeing all the cool, seeing all the cool spacey, band instruments, and just the way it all came together. And I just have to say too, like, the world building that they've done in this. I mean, we've seen different planets in movies and series and all that, but like, I really felt like we got to see so much of the traditions of this planet, like, that you don't normally get to see. And it was just beautiful. Like, it almost felt like I felt like I was attending this funeral. You know what I mean? Like, it really took me into it. I loved it.
I agree. In terms of just like, I mean, Star Wars is good about taking us to different locations in the films, TV shows. But this, I feel like, this is the first time that we've really got a chance to really drill deep into a culture on one of those. And I thought it was incredibly satisfying.
Yeah,
I agree. And she says yes, it's all that. Well, then when she starts saying "fight the Empire," which to me reminds me of "Fight the Power" by Public Enemy. The way she said it, I was like, "Fight the power!" I mean, "Fight the Empire." I'm like, I'm getting confused.
Should she started like, if she started like shadow boxing, would that have worked?
Exactly. We're ready, go girl. Hi sis. So it was wonderful because then they start hearing, wait a minute, this bitch is trying to get us to get them against us, tries to cover the hologram, but somehow he missed it. Somehow, like, he only got, B is like a little box. And so he do the thing over, and when it went part of it, I couldn't stop laughing. That part took me off in a little bit, maybe laugh a little bit. I was like, okay. But then when they kicked him over, I was like, let me kick it over, B. I'm like, oh my God. And then the big fight ensues. And it starts to happen. Cassian gets to Bix, but as soon as he gets to Bix, that kid, we find it was a bomb, and he tosses it strategically to that place where there was a lot of different, it starts off a chain of bombs, explosions. Loved it. Everybody's fighting.
It was a perfect throw. It looked like he like took out like a tank looking thing,
Yeah,
and it was just the perfect throw. Yeah, it took that out, and then it starts setting off all these grenades and other explosives. It was literally the perfect throw, and it just, I mean, I wonder how that fight would have gone without that explosion. You know what I mean? But that explosion completely scattered the Empire, and now the people of Ferrix, they could just take over. Let's beat the crap out of these guys now.
They started, and people started dying. The black guy died. The other guy died. The other guy died. So Darth Ferrix died. People were just dropping left and right, just dropping. Stormtroopers are shooting at people, shooting everywhere. But the part that I didn't realize was going to happen, the ISB guy showed up to Cinta and was like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "Bye." And it was like, "You don't answer." She's like, "I'll answer you. I'm going to kill you." And she shivs him. And he's dead.
I mean, Cinta takes care of business for sure. And so it's like we don't see much of her, but what we saw was impactful. But as opposed to Vel, we just see her just, run into that big dust storm.
And run a dust storm. And
that's it.
The big dust storm.
Because that was seriously, you know what it reminded me of, you guys? Have you ever seen the movie The Mist? That movie is fucked up, first of all. I mean, that ending still haunts you. If you've never seen The Mist, folks, the television version. There was a TV, I think it was a miniseries or movie version. That ending is so effed up. It literally, seriously, it made me have nightmares for like 3 or 4 days. And I'm pretty good. I read all Stephen King stuff. The book was slightly different. So I was like, The Mist was like a novella. It was different. But that movie, it was all the mist. And what was in the mist. And so I thought it was a very cool shot when she's running into the mist. I said again, I was hoping something would happen and she'd have this big scene or something, or she gets shot, or just something happens and nothing happened. It was like it was just a weird cinematic moment.
Yeah.
Remind me of that.
Yeah.
Deidre's hat gets hit. Thought that made me chuckle a little bit too, because it just knocked her out. Because it's a thing like, oh, their hat, like, oh, their hat is so big. And I thought because it didn't hit her, which I was like, that's interesting. It hit the hat, and she's getting knocked around. The guy that Frank was saying is always pissy. He was trying to climb out of the groove, trying to climb out of something. I was laughing. Some of the things made me laugh a little bit because like. Luthen's like, bye, bitches. He's like, I'm out. I mean, and he stands there and he looks so defeated, kind of like this guy's standing just like, or maybe he was okay. I mean, I don't know if he was defeated or not. I couldn't tell. He's just kind of standing there, but all the fighting's happening. Then, like, we see people getting saved, people getting killed. It's like a lot of chaos. The young kid gets taken by the stormtrooper, but then he gets saved. He's getting pulled out by Brossos, and then he's getting pulled out. Hi, Albert. How you guys? And then Deidre gets pulled away and saved by her man, Cyril. And they're like, I was like, are they gonna kiss? I was sitting there like, what? I mean, because he was in hog heaven. He saved his woman, Frank. He saved her.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this scene. Because it's like what I've enjoyed about Deirdre so far this season is the way that, she's been it hasn't been about romance or anything. It's just even the idea of this is like you get us to feel sympathetic towards her at the beginning of the season. It's like, oh, it's a woman against all these other men are out to stop her the whole time, and they're want to diminish her in the ISB, and she rises above it all. And then we come down to this end, and even the stuff with Cyril, and I like where you expect, like, oh, they're probably going to try to develop some sort of relationship, and she's always shutting him down every turn. Nope. She's all business, and then we have this end where it's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm going to see where it goes in season 2 before I make any firm decisions on this. But I just feel like I wasn't sure. I wanted Deirdre to still have that aggressive, defiant personality she had. And who am I to say how somebody's going to react to if you're in the midst of a mob that looks like they probably want to kill you? I mean, who am I going to say? I haven't been one of those lately, so I don't know how I'm going to act. So I'm sure I'll be crying. I'll be crying. Please don't get me. Please don't get me.
Well, Frank, the last time I was in a mob, no, but she still had her edge. She said, "I guess I should say thank you," and he says, "You don't have to."
Oh,
I'm
And you never will.
I think I want to see next season. It may not be as melty as you think it is, Frank. She may still have it, but it's funny they did end up together. Because again, he's kind of a piece. He's kind of the outlying piece. So you still got to figure out what his role is going to be.
Yeah.
Everybody else has their roles kind of defined. He's that guy working at that place, and he's trying to get back in. So is this his way in?
And I gotta admit, points docked for Cyril for he gives zero F's about his sergeant who gave him the tip about Andor. At the end of the morning after, Sergeant is just sitting there just boozing. Yep, on the side of the road. That's
he
it.
He dropped them for a woman, Frank.
I want to see that guy like change now, turn. I want to see him be like, you know what? Screw this empire.
Screw this empire.
Yeah. I want to see that guy. I think his name is Sergeant Mosk or something. I want to see him by the time next season rolls around. He's working for the rebellion. He's sitting there on the steps like, oh, what the hell have I been doing? Just drinking.
Exactly. When they showed him, I was like, that's so funny. He didn't get killed. He just left behind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Left behind. And Val and Cinta are okay. So the lesbians are fine, folks. They're fine. They make it through.
What I thought was interesting about Luthen too is that as much as he's trying to foment this rebellion and wants it to, gain traction across the galaxy, he is, and even though he's moved by Marva's speech and he's feeling like, yes, this is all happening, he still keeps the bigger objective in mind. Where it's not like I'm not going to stay here and get involved in this fight and maybe save and help some of these people that are in immediate crisis, because I got bigger plans and I can't be, maybe foolishly killed here when there's so much more left to accomplish. So it's like, yeah, he's like, peace out. I respect you guys, but I'm gone.
He got his speeder. It was like, bye, bitches. He just zoomed out the way. It was like, bye.
Mm-hmm. I love that speeder, by the way. It's a cool speeder.
Me too. I know, me too. But he was like, I'm out. Meanwhile, another ship. We got Cassian takes Bix over to Brassos, and we see a chick, some black chick. I guess she's one of the daughters of Ferrix or whatever. Is now
Jezzy.
Jezzy is her name? Okay.
Yeah.
She's a black chick. So black chick is now part of these people. The kid, obviously. The older man's like, I'm gonna stay. He said he's not gonna go. I'm not gonna stay. But he's helping them get this ship off the ground. Cassian doesn't go with them, which that actually I thought they were all gonna go together. And I was like, oh no, Cassian's like, no, I'm gonna go. I gotta take care of something. I'm like, I'll find you guys. I will find you. Like, he's not going with them. He puts Bix on there, B is on there, so they're all safe. And he tells the chick, Jesse, whatever, what to do. So this is what you gotta do. Go fast, go hide, whatever the things. And they take off. So okay, season 2. There we go, I guess. There we go. Season 2. Like I said, Valicenta is still here, so they're fine. Deidre is mouth breathing on top of Cyril, so they've got their thing going on. Let's make sure we all got our thing, where everything is. Then you get back to the ship. Okay, well, Luthen's leaving. Okay, that makes sense, or whatever. But so I think he was sensing something was off, and it's like, okay, I love him with the short hair and everything. I like when he has a little short hair and the cape and everything. And then there's Cassian. And Cassian and the city's like, and Luthen's like, okay. And he's like, go ahead and I'm here. I know you wanted to kill me, so here, go ahead and kill me. And he's like, excuse you? And he's like, kill me. And Luthen picks up the gun, and they're standing there. And I love this scene because there's not a lot of talking. It's just like, well, we go either kill me or take me in. That's what he said. And he said like the third time. And did Luthen smile for a second? It's like he smiled for a second, didn't he?
He sure did.
That's how it ended. It was like, there's our cliffhanger. But he smiled for us, like, Luthen and I think Frank or John said this early in the season. Isn't this what Luthen wanted in the first place? I was like, when you guys said that early in the season, that was like probably before we knew much about him, that was goals to get Cassian into the rebellion.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know which one you guys said. I don't. We have to go back to the first episode. Someone go back to the first episode, second episode, and tell us what you think. But what do you guys say?
Daddy got what he wanted.
Okay, he smiled. He totally smiled. It's like he smiled for a second there, and then that's how I did it.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed that scene tremendously. Just like and Stellan's face, that reaction really sold it for me. So, yeah, I mean, I got to mention, I mean, the casting that he sees in front of him, different than the casting that he saw last time, who was just all about like, just give me the money, I'll just do this, and then I'm out of here. So, have him come back and say, I know you wanted to kill me, but I'm still here and I'm still in. If you take me in, right. Yeah, get back. Yes.
And I also feel like that smile, like he's getting a better Cassian than I think he even expected, because the reason he wanted Cassian to begin with was because of the skill set that he had, right? Of being able to just sort of infiltrate Imperial, locations, bases, ships, whatever, take their equipment. And like, so he wanted him for this skill set. But now he's getting this even better version of Cassian, who's listening to Nemik's manifesto. And now Luthen has seen the woman that raised Cassian and who just, sparked a big revolt on this planet. It's like, wow. So I'm getting what I wanted all the way back in episode 2, episode 3 or whatever. But I know that you're not just somebody that can help the rebellion. You can lead the rebellion. You can be a leader of this movement. So I think that was part of the smile too. I don't know.
It was good. I sound like he smiled. There, you got a little. Like, okay. It felt like it was back to the beginning. Like it was like, okay, now I'm getting what I want. So I'm like, that made me excited for season 2 also. So we can assume Stellan's back of season 2. I don't know. Yes. I don't know if they're filming it already, because they agreed with this a long time ago. If they're done or if they filmed it, I have no idea. Do you know anything, Frank?
They've started filming in London.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but supposedly we're probably not going to get it until 2024. I hear.
Well, we gotta get through Ahsoka. We gotta get through Mandalorian 3. There's other things we have to get through first, and then Acolyte, which I'm very excited about too. Actually, now I'm excited.
Me too.
Acolyte. I'm actually very excited about it. But then also, folks, if you didn't stay on this, because I know they don't normally do this, but I was told ahead of time to keep watching. You watch the credits. Then post credits, very Marvel-like, you see some droids putting something together. Little small, little creepy crawly ones. Then it pulls back a little bit, you see more. And you pull back, you see a surface. You pull back, and gentlemen, what did we see in the post credits? Who wants to say it? Because I had an orgasm when I saw it.
Whoa!
I did. Somebody to say it for me. What show was saying for? What did we see?
The Death Star.
The Death Star. I was like, all righty, the child me is excited again. It was like it's excited again. I thought very cool. So we could basically just assume all those cogs and things they were building was for the Death Star. Which one of you guys said that too? One of you guys said that a while back.
And
it's really I'm sorry. Go ahead, Frank. I just think it's wild now too. Like knowing, Rogue One, we meet Jyn Erso, whose father, was building, the big weapon, and then we find out that Cassian was also helping to build the Death Star. Yes. Just a weird connection. Yes. Both Cassian and Galen Erso contributed to the construction of the Death Star. Yes. It's just very strange. Yes. I don't know, but I thought that was funny.
Well, especially like just the somber thought of like, oh yeah, Cassian doesn't even realize that he was help building the weapon that's going to kill him.
Yes, right.
And it's fun. It's crazy too. Like in Rogue One, he has doubts about what Jyn is saying. Like she starts to try to tell everybody in that ship, on their way back to the rebel base. This was my father's message. They're building this weapon. They're called the Death Star, whatever. And it's like Cassian had doubts about that. He ultimately ended up believing her and believing in her. But like, it's just funny to me that like he had doubts about, is this really true what she's saying? And unwittingly, he has no idea that he actually helped to build the very thing that she's talking about.
Yep. So I thought that was very cool for the Star Wars folks out there. So that was the episode. I mean, basically it was a satisfying almost hour of content, and it brought the season together for me. And I'm very, very curious what happens next season. But now I'm going to sit and ruminate on this season, so we can come back and do a season talk about it. Because you guys saw it way before I did. So now I'm gonna let it sit for a while, and then I want to come up with some thoughts and talk about what we think about the whole season. Like we've done for every other show, we always do like a season ending wrap up. We'll see, and kind of get my thoughts together, because I want to I enjoyed the ending, so I just want to sit on it for a while and kind of like let it germinate.
What are you going to be sitting on it and germinating, or are you just going to be watching that after credit scene again?
Again. On a loop. Well, I'm listening to the Darth Vader breeding channel. You can go to Darth Vader breeds on any social media platform.
Yeah, just you're gonna be working it out, James. You're gonna be working it out.
Some Darth Vader ASMR.
Yes, it's hilarious. 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes long of him just breathing.
Just and then one right in the middle, just one. I am your father, and then just continuous breathing.
I wish you did. They didn't do that. They just breathed for 20 minutes. And I listened to it when I did it with its whole entirety. I listened to it on Spotify, and I was like, it was oddly soothing after a while. I was kind of like, I did have urges to want to blow up things or whatever. But that was a story. But other than that, it was pretty soothing. Oh yeah, trust me, folks. Darth Vader breathing. Go to any that's out there. But yeah, no, I'm gonna sit and think about that. I like the season. I want to make sure I can articulate why I love the season, because folks are asking me why I like this. Why this show is to me right now is one of my favorite Star Wars shows in the canon. Yeah. Well, live action. So we'll say live action.
Yeah, I will be curious to see. Yeah, where this I feel like has been so I think it's going to be something that's going to be found later by fans that were kind of reluctant on it at first, but I'll be curious to see if this has any impact in just terms of the ongoing quality writing level of other Star Wars television projects, where it's like, yeah, we gotta this is our bar now about what we should be delivering and stuff.
That's a good point, Frank. Well, if I'm hearing about Acolyte, when I'm reading about it, it might be that same caliber too on that one.
Oof,
they have a really good cast. They have a really good cast. It's almost like you can't have a good cast and waste them, right? You can't just you can't have Forrest Whitaker and waste them. You got to have some. These are Oscar winners, so I'm with you. I'm like, for some of these other shows, I'm curious if they will step it up in the storytelling department and in the dialogue.
And obviously it depends on the show and everything, I think, but I liked how this season, it never felt, like anything was boring to me or slow. Like we got 12 episodes in the season, and they were all, at least 40 minutes, right? I mean, at least 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes. I think this finale was over 50 minutes long. And I'm curious to know what you guys think, because we've had other seasons of Star Wars shows on Disney Plus that were only 6 episodes, and some of those episodes are 30 minutes or less. Do you like this format of having more episodes, 12 episodes longer? I feel like it helps you really tell that story.
Frank always has. That's the thing. So Frank, what do you think about this?
I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, certainly, for the story they wanted to tell. I mean, I didn't think that I never felt like I was being wasted. My time was being wasted watching any of this. I was interested, and I was in through every single episode. And I can't say that for Mandalorian. I enjoyed. I thought that kept moving, but Boba Fett and even Obi-Wan, I felt like those were both series that could have been shortened or even just been movies, and I would have been
standalone film, right?
Yeah, just tighter. So yeah, for this, boy, heck yeah! If you can give me this is what I want. Give me rich stories. If you can fill 12 episodes, great. Or if you can fill episodes, I feel like If it's only going to be 4 episodes, great, I'll take it. But if you're going to be like 4 really meaty episodes, I will certainly. I'd rather have that than 6 episodes, and not be jazzed about 2 of them because they feel like they're just really kind of stretching the plot.
Right. Okay.
Like, okay, like cool. Okay.
I don't know, because I know people still complain
interesting.
now if you watch any or if you read any commentary about the show, like, I don't know, after those like the first 3 episodes, it was just so boring. I just tuned out. It's like, oh, man, it's that I'm disappointed for those people because boy, they missed stuff.
And I do have to say that because I know somebody else that literally watched this 1 episode, said it didn't feel like Star Wars and they didn't want to watch it anymore. I felt like this whole series felt like Star Wars. And I in particular want to mention the music because there were not many, there wasn't really any familiar famous themes from like the original trilogy or the major trilogies. But a lot of the music in this show felt very Star Wars to me, or Star Warsian, as James likes to say. You know what I mean? Like we didn't get, the major themes that we get in the Star Wars movies, but it still sounded and felt like Star Wars and felt like it fit the show perfectly,
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it was like if watching Mandalorian, even Boba Fett, even Obi-Wan. I mean, they still were of a piece to me in terms of the Star Wars films and stuff, just in terms of the way people talk and all that stuff. But boy, with Andor, just the dialogue was just like that. I mean, people will quote lines from the various Star Wars films, but I don't know if people are really like singing the praises of the dialogue overall. And I just feel like there are just so much great storytelling and dialogue in all of these that I feel like for me, I feel like this is like taking what you love about Star Wars and then just refining it just a little bit more. Feel like, yes, guys, this is you level up the storytelling just a little bit and just see how much richer this universe can be.
Yeah.
I agree. And we will talk further about that next week. We'll come back and talk further about what we think about the season, how it progressed. Frank's like, no, you'll be here. I will find you. I have ways to find you.
You have a certain set of skills?
Yes.
Get it out. I have a certain set of skills. I will find you. I know those taken movies. Trust I've seen all 3 over and over again. But we'll be back about that because again, we enjoyed the show. We enjoyed being together. So I'm gonna stretch it out 1 more week at least.
That's right. London Bridget.
Bridget, you can have your holidays, folks, whatever you're gonna do. We love you guys. Share this with everybody. Tell everybody about our show. This is what we talked about. The season 1 finale reaction. Thank you, Star Wars. Thank you, Disney Plus. Thank you, Lucasfilm. Thank everybody in the show. We enjoy. He's wearing Star Wars gear. I'm not wearing my sister's gear, which is sfvrocks.com.
Nice.
There's one for merch at sfvrocks.threadless.com. So check her out. And on Instagram, sfv_rocks. Go ahead and check it out. You want to learn about tourism in the Valley, go to her. This is all about tourism in the Valley. So thank you, Frank.
That is a very nice shirt.
Yes.
Very nice. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I just got it. So
until you were a lot of times at the beginning of the show, I kept on looking because it was just the shirt would just rise up just a little bit, and so the shirt, I thought the shirt said something much different until I got until I got the whole thing. Yes, I was just seeing a little bit of that, top of that F and top of that V, and
you're thinking something else, weren't you? No.
Well, we have had talk of orgasms tonight on the show.
I did. I had a Star Wars gasm. I did. I had one when I saw the Death Star. I had a Death Star gasm. That's what I had. I was like, oh my God, my childhood, right in front of me. It's big and round. Everybody, we love you guys. Happy Go Jackie, Jaden89. He has some show called Strat Chat or some show. What's it called?
That was right. You got it right. Strat Chat.
One guy said it right for a change.
Yeah.
Strat Chat.
Strat Chat. Because we chat about strategy.
I'm done. I'm gonna go play in the traffic. I'm done. I don't have time for you. Oh, my sister's on here. Hi, sis. I know you're on here. I just give a shout to your thing. And Frank and I do the General Hospital mini spotlight. We'll be back this Sunday. I am doing better. I'm doing better, Frank. So this Sunday We went about General Hospital. The whole block, we Bold and Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital. Way back, so you can see me and Frank in our natural habitat.
Ooh, there you go.
Talking about on the bus, talking about General Hospital, right, Frank?
That's right. And sex rocking.
Sex rocks. That's what he thought it said. I wouldn't know. It's been 3 years. Everyone, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.